Hey yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Aceox. Yeehaw! And I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to When They Put Horror in Non-Horror Games by G-Man Lives. Never seen a G-Man Lives video so far, so this is a first on this channel and I'm excited what his video style is going to be like. And before we get into it, let me quickly talk about horror in non-horror games. I think I've already talked about it a couple of times in horror video reactions I made, but I'll give you a brief summary of what I think about horror in non-horror games or horror in non-horror media in general. I love it. Yeah. My first ever jump scare I experienced in a movie was in Spider-Man 1 by the Sam Raimi trilogy, where the Green Goblin disguised himself as a grandma and then hid in a burning building. And when Spider-Man arrives, he turns around and he's like, ah! You know, like that. So yeah, and ever since then, I'm a fan of that. Yeah. I think jump scares and horror moments and everything feel a lot more impactful in media that isn't horror related. And I already mentioned an example a couple of times in previous videos. I saw a Japanese drama movie. It was about a guy who wanted to game end himself and some guy saves him, and it's a really serious drama and everything. And then there's this one scene where they sit in a restaurant and talk, and suddenly the camera zooms in into a creepy looking ghost woman in the background, really creepily staring and smiling at the protagonist and being illuminated by the candlelight. And the protagonist is like, what the? Nani?
どないしたん？あ、ちょっと寒気が。風邪か？いや、大丈夫。
Yeah, but and I think that's really effective because that made me jump. Because I mean, it's a drama. It's a drama. There's nothing like this except that scene in that movie. Nothing else. It's not a horror movie. It's not a horror whatever. It's not even, you know, scary or I don't know. But that scene exists. I don't know why, but it is effective. It is really effective because it caught me completely off guard because I wasn't watching a horror movie. Yeah. And that's something I really like, because getting scared works by surprising you. And if you watch a horror movie or play a horror game, you know what to expect. You're fully prepared. Sure, it might get you every now and then, but if there is something scary happening in something that isn't horror related, it gets you 100 times more. I can promise you that. That's why I like it. I think sometimes it can be quite cheap. For example, pop-up jump scares back in the day. The coffee zombie video. I think everyone who's my age and was active on the internet back then knows what I'm talking about. It fucking gave me PTSD, man, whenever I see a green scenery and a car driving. But yeah, I think that's obviously cheap, because yeah, sure, you don't expect it, but that's just mean-spirited. But if there are horror elements in non-horror related media, it can be done well. I just can't. I woke up an hour ago, so I can't really think of an example right off the top of my head. But yeah, there are, what I'm trying to say is there are cheap jump scares in non-horror related media that's just mean-spirited, and I don't like it. That's what makes them cheap, in my opinion. And then there are classier ones in non-horror related media. One cheap one, for example, would be the jump scare in, what was a Scooby-Doo game, the mummy jump scare. That's just a straight up pop-up jump scare in a kid's game. That's fucked up. That's extremely cheap. That's fucked up beyond belief, and I don't like that. But like subtle stuff or horror elements put into non-horror games or media, movies, whatever, is something I like. If it's just a jump scare, like, it's shit, obviously. It's shit. But I guess, I hope we're not talking about just jump scares, because just jump scares, I don't know, I consider horror. Horror for me is more about the ambience, you know, being creepy and spooky mysterious. Yeah, stuff like that, but not jump scares. Jump scares, I think, can exist in every shape or form and aren't scary. You know, they just make you jump, but you're not scared of them unless you've been a kid at my age when I was a kid and people ran after you with their stupid ass flip phones in their hands trying to show you the goddamn coffee commercial. That shit, yeah, that scared me. That scared me. And it was a lot more prevalent on YouTube where people just put straight up jump scares at random in videos to the point where pretty much everyone I know was really, really scared whenever they watched a video of someone they haven't seen before, because you never knew. You never knew. You became very paranoid and thought everyone is going to put goddamn jump scares in their videos. But yeah, those times are over. But yeah, I wanted to keep it sweet and short, but once again, I am rambling endlessly, so let's just cut it short here and you get to the video. But before we do, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by G-Man Lives. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him, oh shit, what's that behind you? Look behind you. Is that a dildo? Damn! That's some spooky ass shit, yeah. Tell him that. And obviously subscribe to him. I don't know what to expect from his videos, but I guess we'll see. And I'm sure it's going to be worth subscribing for. But I'll reserve that right for myself until the end of the video. Yeah, because I'm an asshole. So finally, without further ado, let's get to the video. Let's fucking go, bro.
I said I'm not afraid anymore!
Yeah, Kevin.
Do you hear me? I'm not afraid
What the fuck?
anymore!
It's me!
A little while back now, I took a look at a few horror moments in otherwise non-horror games. Times that have
alright, okay.
sneaky and scare us when we least expected it. Well, seeing as the years stop coming,
so he already made a video about that.
Don't stop coming, I thought it'd be fun to go back and take a look at a few more examples. Especially considering a lot of people blew up my comments section with ideas for other titles to check out. Again,
that's cool.
Keep in mind that this isn't supposed to be any kind of definitive list. So if there's anything missing here, don't take it as a personal insult. Also, too, I'm really aiming for that million sub mark this year, so if you could hit that subscribe button, that'd be awesome as well.
Do that.
Sound good? Alright, let's get it.
Yes.
Move it. Go, go, go.
Now, Bethesda have been pretty good at finding ways to throw little horror sequences into their games, with the Dunwich
Fallout 3
being a great example.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were pulling the same kind of thing with Elder Scrolls Oblivion.
It's more like a nightmare.
I know the part of the sewers you were talking about. Follow me, I'll show you.
And while you could argue that a fair few sections leaned into horror, one of the more memorable
I don't remember that.
One of the shrine missions for the Daedric Lord Vermina. Right, so long story short, a wizard stole a orb.
I never played that quest. What the hell?
Dream-like prison, which has now manifested itself within this tower. And now you've got to head in there, navigate through this place, and try to find it. If you ever played Constantine's Mansion and Thief the Dark Project, well, then this stuff is all going to seem very familiar. With it looking like a fairly innocuous place from the outside, only to slowly reveal itself as this surreal and nightmarish world. You got rooms that are upside down with the furniture on the ceiling. Other times
I think I saw footage of that quest.
And then you got rotting corpses and pools of blood also being common decorative pieces throughout. One section of the tower is called the Oasis, which is just a crumbling tower in the middle of this endless sea of lava. And then another room is a series of walkways suspended in this black void. Like we just suddenly crossed over into Max Payne's nightmares.
Yeah.
Easily the most unsettling room, though, is another one in a black void where there's nothing but dead bodies hanging from ropes in all directions. And the audio alone in this room is unsettling enough. Never mind the visuals.
Yeah. That's fucking dark.
Along with this, you're also
that's rad.
by tough creatures, reminding us of Oblivion's most terrifying element, its horribly scaled difficulty.
Yeah,
Oh, fuck.
yeah, that fucking thing.
Finally come across the wizard.
Dude, I know everyone shat on it, but I want to shit on it too. The enemy level scaling or whatever in Oblivion was so fucking pointless, so fucking annoying, so fucking frustrating. I hated it. Everyone hated it. I don't like that stuff. I don't like level scaling in any type of game where the enemies, you know, level up with you, because what's the point? I'm getting all these upgrades and stuff and the level ups and whatever to get stronger, not be, you know, the same throughout the game. Even though I get levels, gain levels, gain experience, put in some skill points and shit, and I was still. At the end, I'm still as weak as I was before. What the shit? What's the point? Nah, I said it once and I'm gonna repeat it, like, because I love repeating myself. Prototype, the game series, in my opinion, has the best upgrade system. Because at the end, when you got pretty much everything upgraded to its maximum potential, you are a fucking god, an unstoppable force of nature, and that shit feels good. It feels really good, as if you're putting a penis up your ass and a needle up your dick hole. No, but seriously, it's my favorite leveling system, or not leveling system, the more the skill points, you know, the skill tree stuff, upgrades. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. Because it makes you overpowered. It gives you fucking power that should be game breaking. It feels more like you're becoming more and more a cheater. But it's part of the game. And I like that. I think games should be more like that. Yeah. I don't like these goddamn skill trees where, first of all the skills are fucking useless stuff I don't need. Or, even worse, they strip goddamn essential normal shit like sprinting for at least 10 seconds and put it in the skill tree and expect us to be like, yeah, wow, yeah, I can finally run for longer than 10 seconds, damn! Hell nah, make me overpowered. And Oblivion showed why that system is ass, because in that game, it does not fucking matter. Your level just makes the game actually harder, because you actually get way more difficult enemies and nothing to fight them with, so you end up having to lower the difficulty over and over and over until you reach a point where you can't even lower it anymore. And at that point, you're fucked. What's the fucking point? I don't know. So yeah, there was a trick I've been told many times by other people who played Oblivion back in the day. They told me back then, just don't level up. Don't level up. Just stay level 1. Otherwise, the game is going to get way too fucking difficult for no justified reason. Yeah. So if you play Oblivion, don't level up. Or install a mod that fixes the enemy scaling. Yeah.
Himself, lost in this perpetual spell-induced sleep limbo. And in a really cool attention to detail in the room just before this, you can even hear what sounds like the guy snoring. Either way, though, once you grab that orb, you can leave this place for good.
What the fuck, man?
Your reward for all of this is a unique staff which has the ability to clone NPCs, creating a hostile double that instantly starts going after the person they're cloned from.
Holy shit, okay.
So yeah, easily one of the more unique
That's
items.
overpowered.
Easily one of the most unique quests in the entire game.
So could you technically just...
Now, I'll admit,
does it also clone the stats? Because if it does, then damn, that's an overpowered staff I did not know about. That's crazy. That's crazy. Imagine you're the bad guy in that game and you level up and you're OP as fuck. And then some random player comes your way and then clones you and you gotta fight your own clone. Damn. That's disrespectful as fuck and hilarious. Yeah. I just realized if people cloned me with that, I wouldn't fight myself. I would try to fuck myself. Now that's scary. That's scary and disrespectful and would be still pretty hilarious. Hell yeah.
That I've never been a huge fan of the earlier Hitman games, only because I've always thought they felt like incredibly frustrating trial and error simulators. But you can't really deny that they still had
it was a jankiness for me.
Vibe. Truly capturing the feeling of playing as this silent, bald assassin skulking around this seedy underworld and taking out all of these key figures. Contracts was unique for the series as well, in the way that it was a sequel to the second game, as well as being something of a remake for the first. With Agent 47 critically wounded in the opening, and then having flashbacks to all his old previous missions. Which also explains why it's raining all the time, with the rain in the real world seeping back over into his dreams. And right from the opening mission, the tone is dark and gritty.
Sounds a bit confusing.
The very first one even having a whole sequence where you find this kind of hideous murder shrine with the hacked up remains
Why is he dancing?
Woman. But it's one of the later missions set in a hotel, which is the one that I want to focus on.
Okay.
Lock my door.
Now, this is actually a remake of a mission from the first game, where 47's sneaking into a hotel to take out a couple of terrorists.
Wait, I think I know what he's going to talk about, but wasn't that Hitman Blood Money? But he's talking about Hitman contracts, right? Is he going to talk about the ghost in the mirror? Because if so, that was Blood Money, not contracts. If I remember correctly.
If you know anything about these games, it's that the devil's in the details. Because getting off from the main lobby after you first make it into the building, you'll find a section of the hotel that's been locked up with a message from the map that's even hung up on the door.
That's Blood Money.
The lock when no one's looking and head on in, you'll soon notice the colors shifting as everything seems to become more muted. And then if you're quick enough as you turn the next corner, you'll even catch a ghost down a nearby corridor walking through the...
That's alright, fuck you, man! I'm gonna look this shit up. I'm gonna look it up. Hold on. Alright, looks like I was wrong. That's strange. I tried to look it up, but all of that popped up was the Hitman Contracts ghost. Even though I searched explicitly for Hitman Blood Money, but I guess I was wrong. What the shit? I could have bet my goddamn life that it was Blood Money, but it looks like I'm wrong. All right, I'm wrong. I'm sorry. I've got them goo in my throat. Sorry, I gotta do that. I gotta do that to get the goo throat, the throat goo out of my throat. Yeah, god damn it, man. I just wanted to be right, and now I look like a smart guy. Oh, I look like an idiot like always. Yeah. Nah, but maybe I confused those two games, but strange. Strange indeed. It's mystery of life.
Before quickly vanishing.
Yeah, it is that ghost.
Fuck!
Now, a bit more investigation is going to reveal that this part of the hotel is an active crime scene, with a guest even being murdered in a nearby room and a grisly blood trail leading to a bathroom that appears to have been where most of this nasty stuff took place. At this point, if you look into any of them,
and in the mirror, there we go.
A ghost standing right behind you, glowing red eyes and all, waving its arms about as it beckons you to bugger off. Oh yeah, to make this even creepier, if you turn around to try to look at it, the thing of course is not even there. But weirdly, shooting at that same spot with the weapon is going to leave blood spatters on the wall behind it. Once you leave the area,
mystery of life,
and then life resumes as if it's never stopped, leaving this as an incredibly bizarre and chilling Easter egg that no doubt caught a lot of people off guard back then. And what I think makes this so cool is just how out of left field it actually is. I mean, until now,
and it doesn't even bother to explain it.
You know what I mean? Just hanging out at weird S&M sex parties and murdering people while they're in the middle of an opium high. But now the game's outright confirming the existence of ghosts and the paranormal within its universe. Which, if that's the case, also means that 47's probably got more people haunting him than Paulie did in The Sopranos.
How the fuck do you know that?
Either way, definitely a memorable and pretty damn creepy moment. Responsible for the pissing of many pants back in 2004.
Yeah. And that's what I like.
Up next is another one from the early...
You know, in other games, they would definitely totally go like, dude, you were high? That explains it. But no, this game doesn't give a shit. It just shows you something and is like, there you go. Make up your own mind about that. I don't care. And that's the good stuff. Because then you can theorize and fantasize about whatever the fuck could be going on in that goddamn part of the game, and that's good shit. That's good shit. Yeah, that's why I honestly like the human experiment monster things in Far Cry 1, because the game didn't give a shit about how outlandish that seems, while meanwhile the other games, whenever they had some insane stuff going on, it's always a drug trip, like, hey, you're tripping, dude. Whoa. And that's boring, man. Give me something to theorize about. Be like, damn, I guess everything I knew is wrong. And the world is an even more fucked up place than I thought it was. Yeah. That's the good stuff.
Thousands with Return to Castle Wolfenstein in 2001. A reboot for the
hold on, I remember this, but
loosely follows along the same plot as Wolfenstein 3D. And much like Wolfenstein 3D, the campaign opens with you, BJ Blazko, escaping from the dungeons and finding your way out of the eponymous castle. Working your way through the bowels of the place before reaching higher ground, and then gunning down every goose step and moron that gets in your way.
Yeah, fucking kill those
Soon you
Nazis.
make it to the tram station and take
yeah.
that down into a nearby village, followed by cleaning house, quite literally, going from building to building, along with shooting enemy soldiers in the streets. Eventually, you meet up with the resistance members who tell you that the Nazis are performing some kind of an occult ritual at a nearby church, and the quickest way to reach them is by cutting through the nearby crypts and catacombs.
What
Which
could
is where
go
shit
wrong?
gets real, because there's a whole bunch of zombies and undead warriors who are not
Damn.
too happy about the living being down there. With it also
Yeah.
showing us very quickly how dangerous these things can be, as they attack and most likely kill a small squad of soldiers. Yeah, and you know what?
I think, I don't know why, but I really like the Wolfenstein series for the zombie elements. Because there's also the Wolfenstein, the New Order. There's this standalone DLC called The Old Blood, I think. And there's a section with zombie Nazis as well. And then there's the 2008 or 9 one that's, I think, just called Wolfenstein. It's pretty forgotten about, but it mainly focuses on that, you know, occult Nazi type stuff. And that's what I think is really cool, because it usually comes out of nowhere and they don't give a shit. It's just like, yeah, that's a part of the world, didn't you know? Yeah. And also the older games also had something like that every now and then, and I like it. That's the good stuff, because it leaves so much room for interpretation of what the fuck is going on, and I like it. It really throws a curveball your way, you know? You don't expect goddamn zombies in a shooter where it's mainly about being a badass and killing Nazis. Well, unless you know about the occult research stuff the Nazis actually did back in the day, then I guess it makes a little more sense and doesn't surprise you too much. But if you don't know that, I'm sure it's gonna surprise you, because how the fuck do you expect that if you don't know about the historical context of all the shit? And even, I mean, yeah, zombies. They try to make super soldiers that are invincible and shit like that. But I think, yeah, creating zombies as a result of that is always interesting to me. There's also a movie series called, what was it, Outpost? Was it called Outpost? Let me look it up real quick. Yeah, it was called Outpost. I think it has 3 movies, if I remember correctly. But yeah, the idea is pretty much the same. They find a Nazi bunker, and it's filled with Nazi zombies. And I don't know, that shit just, it's freakier than normal zombies, because in most cases, they are not even, you know, like actual zombies, like brain dead morons just trying to eat your brain, but instead like kind of thinking, can still think and stuff and strategize and stuff. That makes them even creepier in my opinion. Yeah, so that's why I like this weird combination of those two things, because it's just so, I don't know, kind of unique. Of course, it's not unique anymore. It's been done a million fucking times. But still, I like those types of zombies more than the typical zombies. Because the typical zombies are just like, I don't know, remind me more of the rabies virus. And that's just, you know, predictable, boring. Yeah. That's why I like those types of zombies more than normal zombies. It's more interesting, more engaging, more otherworldly, rather than, oh, it's a virus and people die and then come back to life. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. No, they did some occult research shit, and they found whatever the fuck that made them, turned them into fucking zombie and shit. Yeah, that's some spooky shit, man. I like that, is what I'm trying to say, in case you couldn't tell already, because it's not like I have said it a million fucking times in just a couple minutes. Nah.
They have you teaming up with the Nazis to kill these things.
Yeah.
You'll also notice very quickly as well that the guys armed with shields can even deflect your bullets back at you if you try shooting them.
Damn, okay.
Which was a really clever little gameplay curve thrown in to shift things up a bit, considering before
Yeah.
you really get past everything by just shooting it in the face.
Yeah.
Also still really impressive just how absolutely relentless this chapter can be. I mean, you got zombies bursting out of their coffins, the floor falls out from beneath you multiple times, and at one point you're trapped in this room as a bunch of the undead pop out of the ground. It is pure nightmare fuel.
That's creepy.
One zombie.
Also, I kind of like the idea, like the way it was done in this game, where, you know, they're not a threat created or used by the Nazis to fight against you, but instead, like, they're fighting against them as well, because they did not want that to happen. And that's like an interesting story concept, because it makes them temporary allies, and that's you can make a lot of interesting story beats with that, and then it goes back to murdering each other. But yeah, it's like a secret third faction appeared, and now the two warring factions temporarily shake hands to kill the fucking third faction so they can go back to killing each other again. Yeah, that's cool. A lot can be done with that. And I think the Wolfenstein series does that pretty well. Yeah.
In particular, is able to breathe fire for some reason. Not to mention that it also has about 5 times the amount of health as the others.
Damn.
Then it gets to the point where
one
it's like
special motherfucker.
Jones or something, having to avoid all these booby traps and activate a bunch of levers.
All right, that's a bit goofy.
Make pass. As well as, of course, collecting various bits of treasure for all that fortune and glory.
Nice. It's like the game suddenly turned into a completely different type of game.
Figures and their glowing eyes. And to think as well that the most frightening thing is yet to come. That being taken on all those leather-clad elite guard in the next area. Yes, still the cause of many confused boners back in the early 2000s.
What the fuck?
It is also worth mentioning as well how the console ports
People pop bonus for that?
The PS2 and the Xbox had a similar sequence unique to those platforms, with the whole prologue chapters set inside a bunch of Egyptian tombs, which were equally
mummies, yeah.
And in fact as well, the Xbox port also added in unique enemies to the crypts, with these occult priests that could shoot out lightning bolts.
Okay.
Either way though, regardless
Strange
of how you
addition.
experience it, this whole thing is a terrifying sequence. Perfectly tapping back into the series' paranormal roots and really doing a great job of updating it into the at-the-time new engine with id Tech 3.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I agree.
Now,
Fart
the
reverb.
Series is probably the last thing you'd ever associate with anything horror-related. Even though it
is it
section in a Sonic game where you're underwater probably
when you drown.
Simply due to the panic-inducing music you had when you were starting.
That's awful. But I guess he's gonna talk about the audio selection screen or whatever, right? In Sonic City.
Sandopolis zone in Sonic and Knuckles, particularly the second act.
Or not?
Now, what I really always thought was cool about this entry is how it was the first game where it felt like they tried to seamlessly transition things between each act and zone. I mean, compared to the previous games where once you beat an act, it would just fade to black and then load in the next area. In Sonic and Knuckles, the gameplay would just pick right up again from where you left off.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of each zone, there'd usually be like a short cutscene showing how Sonic found himself in the next area. But more importantly than that was the tone of the zone itself, which would often change dramatically as well. And it just really was one of the first times where a Sonic game made it feel like you were making a tangible journey through an actual game world. And the best example of this
but what's
point, the Sandopolis
where's the spooky stuff?
Right, so after having landed in the desert after getting out of that awesome flying battery zone, Sonic's now found himself in a scorching hot desert, pushing giant slabs around and abseiling down the side of buildings. With the Genesis even adding in these little subtle heat waves along the bottom of the screen to emphasize.
Alright, typical Sonic stuff.
The boss
so far
is pretty cool too, being this giant leaping golem kind of thing that you need to bait into the nearby quicksand so that it can kill itself. Lol.
Lol. Look at this fucking idiot!
Then after that, Sonic goes into the pyramid for the second act, where right away the music instantly sounds much more sinister. And then shortly into the act as well,
hell yeah, that was a bop.
Where from that point on, these things are going to be haunting you the entire time. From here on in, the lights are constantly
they're changing.
Causes the ghost to get bigger and more menacing the darker it gets. To the point that they're outright hostile and are going to attack you. Taking them out with a spin jump is pretty...
You know what that reminds me of? In Sonic Adventure 2, there's goddamn the pyramid stuff as well, and there are these ghosts too. And you fight a boss ghost and stuff like that. I thought that it was just a weird thing for Sonic Adventure 2, but no, looks like that's a thing in the series. I did not know that. That's okay, cool. I honestly did not know that. I thought they just added that stuff as a weird curveball in Sonic Adventure 2, but no, it's already there. And also the same theme, you know, the Egyptian sand stuff pyramid, whatever, being kind of creepy, and ghosts there, just like in Sonic Adventure 2. So it wasn't a unique thing to Sonic Adventure 2. That makes me angry. Nah, I'm just joking. But yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool. Now I know. The good poop water. Refreshing. Alright, let's continue.
Because they'll just instantly respawn. So the only way to get rid of them is to turn the lights back on with all these various levers. But even then, like, that's only going to be temporary.
Huh, okay.
Early on, you've got one of those infinite water slide puzzles to contend with, and you're constantly having to make it through all of these time-sensitive passageways. But the worst
This kind of like
is where you've got
in
to
the
avoid this
Mario ghost house.
sand that can easily trap you in if you're not quick enough and crush you to death. Along with this constantly...
I know I'm pausing a lot, but I don't care. Fuck you. That's interesting. There's in Super Mario game, whatever, I think, Super Mario World? There's this ghost house or whatever. There's this constant looming thread of those ghosts. And every time you turn the back to them, they try to attack you. I didn't know that there is a similar sequence like that in a Sonic game. I did not know that either. So yeah, I'm learning stuff. Damn! Would you look at me? I'm getting not smarter because I'll probably forget about it in just a couple minutes. That's me. That's AceoX. That's me. Hell yeah.
hostile bunch of ghost fuckers to contend with as well. And yeah, it might seem a bit tame by today's standards. In fact, you know what? Yeah, it's pretty tame. But I mean, try to get into the mind of a kid playing this for the first time.
That's
Considering
spooky.
that before this, you just
little
played
bit.
through something as innocent as the Mushroom Hill Zone. And then gone through that awesome airship in Flying Battery with its weirdly James Bond sounding backing track.
Damn. Yeah.
Now you're trapped inside a pitch black pyramid with a bunch of spooky ghosts coming after you, and the very real threat of being crushed to death by these rising sand levels. Yeah, you get it now.
Yeah, that's a tonal shift. Quite.
Still though, despite how scary this level might be, the scariest thing about the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, without a doubt, is some of its fan art and fan fiction. I mean, yeah, yikes.
Oh!
Now, when
what the fuck is that?
best tactical shooters, you really can't look past SWAT 4. And although we'd had
I heard of that.
shooters before this one came along, there was definitely something about the way this one handled its missions and environments, with the whole thing feeling much more atmospheric and tense. The reason for that is because this one was developed by Irrational Games, known for their work on System Shock 2, with a lot of that dev team even being comprised of people who used to work for Looking Glass Studios, with even Eric Brosius himself composing the soundtrack in this one.
Smooth. Moving forward.
Alright, interesting combination.
Put your hands in the air. Get down now.
Now, the missions in SWAT 4 aren't really connected in any kind of overarching way. It's really just a series of missions in SWAT 4 aren't really connected in any kind of...
What the shit? The fuck? That's kind of creepy. Why does she look like that? Is that supposed to be a poster? What the fuck? And who shot her? Who shot in the wall? Right at where her dome is located. That's creepy looking. What the fuck?
Overarching way. It's really just a series of different scenarios in different locations, where you're given a whole bunch of tools and left to figure out the best way to defuse the situation.
It's open, sir.
But as you soon discover when playing, even something as simple as an arrest warrant can contain so much more.
Alright, I'm intrigued.
I'm referring to the game's...
That was an insane explosion zone.
Investigating the house of a suspect believed to be connected to a series of killings at a nearby college.
Suspect is wanted on multiple homicide and kidnapping charges.
Right from the get-go, the setup is just perfect. You're heading into this creepy
Halloween
house during the dead of night, and once you're inside, you almost instantly run into the suspect's creepy mother, who right away starts screaming out about her son's innocence.
You better leave my little boy alone.
You know, that is when she can get a breath in when she's not getting pepper sprayed in the face.
Lawrence wouldn't hurt a fly.
Yeah!
On a nearby radio,
Take that, bitch!
Report from one of the victim's parents.
How dare you defend your son?
That was the mother of Melinda Klein, an apparent victim of the so-called law school lyncher.
And then in the basement, you see the first hint towards the suspect's cruelty, with all of these dead animals inside different tanks.
No!
But it's when you stumble upon the guy's room when it's confirmed that he's the killer, with the walls aligned with different newspaper articles, serving as decorative trophies to his murderous accomplishments. along with a huge collection of VHS
What the
tapes
fuck?
on a nearby shelf, really showing that this guy's not only been up to this for a while now, but also taking a lot of sick pleasure in capturing the whole thing on film. In the next room is where it turns into
snuff
some
movie
David
maker,
Fincher
okay.
type of shit, with all these cutout masks hanging
Damn.
smelling like air fresheners, and this poor woman bound and
This is
gagged
some
on a
condemned
mattress.
stuff.
This is entry team.
Vibes.
Team to talk. We've got a wounded civilian.
Moving on deeper, you find a series of tunnels leading to the final room.
If you, dude, just looking at all this stuff, it's like I completely forgot that this is a SWAT simulator game, and suddenly it turns into condemned criminal origins. Damn, that's cool. That's an interesting tonal shift, and it works. It actually works. I thought it's gonna be kind of goofy, but no. You know, the mother wasn't really creepy. It was just goofy. And he sprayed her with pepper spray. That was funny as fuck. But now suddenly, yeah, no, this ain't goofy. This could be its own game. That's cool. Hell yeah.
Feces and bug-ridden hellhole in the ground where the final victim's being kept.
You're here.
Damn.
And what's so cool about this game
Damn.
in particular is how SWAT 4's RNG can totally change the way it plays out each time. I mean, your goal is to simply arrest the mother and deal with the suspect however possible. But sometimes this guy might be hiding in the garage, or other times he's hiding in his room. Sometimes he gives up without any kind of fight, but then other times he's going to immediately open fire. Either way, though, he's never really going to be in the same place twice. And a reminder as well that this is the second mission in the game.
I guess I missed it the first time, but the second mission, what the fuck? All right, now I'm a bit confused because the rest of the game isn't like that, right? With this tone and stuff like that. Then it kind of sets up something that isn't going to happen. That's kind of disappointing. If I played it back in the day, I'd expect the game to be more like this, and if it turns out the rest of the game isn't like this, I'd be pissed, man. I'd be pissed. But yeah, this shit good. And with the unpredictable, you know, RNG, like you said, makes this, I can totally see that some really tense gameplay. I can totally picture that in my head. Some unpredictable shit. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I wanted to make some joke, but I'm not gonna make a joke, because I actually mean it. This is dope as fuck. And I'm hard. I'm hard. That's how good it is. the tone of this level, not the theme of murder. Although murder is still pretty.
I would say as well that this is the scariest that it ever gets. Only they manage to outdo themselves later on, with yet again it seems like it should be a routine mission. This time set inside a tenement building that's been taken over by this crazy doomsday cult, who've locked themselves away with all these guns and booby traps. Yeah, and if the real world has taught me anything, it's that religious zealots armed with powerful weaponry and fighting back against the cops doesn't
it's not good.
Rainbows and lollipops.
Suspect.
Yeah.
When do we tie them up?
And look, like I take a serial killer over a couple dozen armed cultists any day of the goddamn week. Because this is easily one of the toughest missions in the entire game, with lots of opportunities for things to go wrong. And again too, the more you get into it, the more the world building paints this horrific picture of what's actually going on here. And at some point you're bound to find your way into the kids' rooms, where you'll
pipe
notice
bombs.
all of these ominously empty bunk beds and cribs.
Oh, shit. I thought I'd seen everything.
Eventually finding your way to the
That's
basement
really
where you'll
fucking
realize
dark.
what
What the
they've
fuck?
done and where the children are. Finding the floor lined with all of these tiny graves, including one they didn't even have to properly bury.
Doc, we found a graveyard in the basement.
Holy shit.
Children.
Copy.
That's really fucking dark. I did not expect this game to go in that direction. I mean, the other part with the serial killer was kind of dark, but this, what the shit? I thought it's just gonna be, you know, goofy cultists doing cultist stuff and that's it. But no, this is fucking real, man. This is realistic as it gets. That's fucked up. That's fucked up because reality is fucking dark. I did not expect that, but I think I gotta play this game. This looks really fucking dark, and I love dark shit. I love playing dark ass shit. And that, Yeah, it looks tense, it looks dark, it looks fucked up, and it's combined with the fact that you're playing as a SWAT team, and it also it includes all the strategical stuff and planning and execution and stuff like that. Are there more games like that? Because I mean, this one seems pretty old, judging by the graphics. Did they make more games like that, or is that more like a one-off for this specific entry in the SWAT series? Because if there are more, maybe I'll play it. Maybe. It looks tense. It looks really intense, and I wanna play it. I wanna pepper spray the goddamn mother as well. So pepper spray her face like, what the fuck, man? Eat shit, bitch. Who the fuck you defending? And shit like that, yeah. But that's a whole nother level. That's damn.
Entry team notifying the morgue.
Yeah, making it very clear that these fucking nut jobs were killing their own kids in pursuit of this bizarre delusional religious vision they've all shared.
Unfortunately, that's it.
It's about something being paranormal.
It's real. It's realistic.
It's showing the possibilities of pure evil that's inside human nature.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, and I thought that mirror effect was scary.
Damn.
No! Up next is another game not really associated with horror due to its mostly comical and premise, and that's with
monkeys? Yeah. Time Splitters. Oh yeah, I got that on my backlog. Split.
I'll get the next one.
Now, Future Perfect is unique.
Yeah, I'd shot him. I'd fucking killed him. What the fuck is that? That was a shit joke. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck, man? It's time to split. No, get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. Yeah, but I got it in my backlog on my PS5, so I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna play this game, Time Splitters, because I heard a lot about it, but never gave it a chance. But since it's now available for PS4 and PS5, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. It looks, gameplay wise, with the HUD and everything, similar to GoldenEye 64, and I played that game a lot back in the day, so yeah, I could see myself enjoying that game if it actually is at least a little bit similar gameplay wise. But yeah, I don't know much about the Time Splitters stuff, so I don't know if I should keep watching, if it's gonna spoil something, but then again, nah. Spoilers don't hurt me, they don't hurt me at all.
Outside of it just being this series of random missions in different time periods which didn't have any kind of connection.
Man, I can think of something else you need.
You're playing as Sergeant Cortez, chasing after a guy named Crow who's trying to rewrite history by changing key events throughout the timeline. Where you eventually find yourself in 1994 at the so-called Mansion of Madness, teaming up with series babe Jo Beth Casey, infamous for wearing that shirt.
Slut.
You know, zombie.
What the fuck?
And
yeah, goddamn, bro.
Wasn't really unique to the series by that point. This level definitely plays out a lot differently, feeling outright Resident Evil inspired, with a foyer featuring a giant staircase before you then go off and explore the mansion bit by bit.
Oh.
The weapons of choice are a shotgun, a very Colt looking revolver, and a flame.
What the fuck's that ghost doing? Is it doing ballerina stuff?
And you'll eventually find your way beneath the mansion to a series of underground.
What is she doing? Oh, she's hanging from the ceiling, right? It looked, for a second I was like, what the fuck am I seeing, man? a dancing, spinning ghost? Goddamn woman with a slut t-shirt with the word slut on over her tits, hanging from the ceiling, doing some, I don't know what, God knows what. I thought she was twerking or some shit. For a second I was like, what the fuck am I watching, man? But yeah, no, it looks like she's hanging from the ceiling. Yeah, trapped there.
Before then coming across the secret
looks like it. Okay.
The zombie virus was first created. Yeah, sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds very familiar.
With computers is very similar, and this short minecart sequence seems like it could have been inspired by the one in RE4. Though that one's maybe less likely considering both of these games released months apart. The difference here, though, is that compared to every other mission where there was probably not and satirical tone, the mansion has moments where it really does feel like they're trying to genuinely scare the player. I mean, like one area is just a series of different rooms with frightening and unsettling imagery, which serve no purpose outside that visual element.
We gotta get out of here.
There's a boss fight where a zombified deer hops out of a war trophy and starts attacking you, which I'm still not sure if it's supposed to be a reference to Evil Dead 2 or just supposed to be a Wendigo.
It could be.
After this.
Then in the kitchen, butchered carcasses come.
Evil Dead 2 is such a funny movie. Funny horror movie.
The ending is a fight against another humongous zombified deer-looking thing before you've got to get out of the lab before it explodes, which again seems familiar.
Yeah. That's some.
And if it wasn't for the constant presence of Jo Beth Casey with that incredibly short skirt, well, this entire mission could have easily passed itself off as flat-out horror.
Damn.
You go first.
Okay.
It's another one of those missions
God
as well,
damn
where
it.
it's as effective as it.
No, that's a man of my taste. A man cut from the same cloth as me. Goddamn baldy. No, but the game looks really fucking interesting so far. I did not expect that. I thought it was just a, time travel stuff shooter, but it doesn't look like it. It looks fucking insane. A giant fucking, what was it? A cow, zombie, ghost, monster, fucker, I don't know, boss, and the deer and what the fuck, the whole area. Damn, that looks fucking unique as fuck, even though it's obviously inspired by Resident Evil, but the visuals and everything, that's so unique. I'm surprised. If the rest of the game is as unique as this, then I'm surprised that there aren't more games in the Time Splitter series, because that looks really appealing, It looks fun, it looks interesting, it looks unique, it looks fresh, but as far as I know, there are only 2 games, right, in the series. Wait, I'm gonna look it up. I'm done making up shit in my own head. How many Time Splitter games are there? 3. Oh, and the first was also an exclusive launch title for the PS2. Okay, interesting. Damn. They wanted to work on a 4th game, but then the studio got shut down. That's unfortunate. I mean, also the time travel stuff and stuff like that, story-wise, I think sounds really fucking interesting. But then again, System Shock, apparently I haven't played it, but I plan on playing it as well. The System Shock series also apparently is really good, and never really got, any more games than it has. I think it has 2, right? System Shock 1 and 2. Yeah. And the remakes and stuff. But yeah, that's depressing, man. Because, I don't know, I think we could use a couple more game series nowadays like that, to break up the monotony from all the Ubisoft games and the EA games and all that same looking bullshit, same sounding bullshit, same playing bullshit, same smelling bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. You cannot polish a turd, and even if you could, you'd still have a polished turd. It's still a turd, man. It's still a fucking turd. So yeah, we need more games like this. It looks interesting. It looks unique-ish. And I'd buy it. I'd buy it.
It is because it comes out of nowhere. And consider that right before this, you're on the back of a speeding train in broad daylight, shooting a bunch of henchmen and attack choppers.
Alright, that's more... No, okay, no. I wanted to say that's more like what I expected the game to be like.
During the opening mission in Siberia, where
it looks just insane.
Taking out security cameras and destroying filing cabinets, only to then suddenly be in the middle of a zombie outbreak.
Damn, okay.
And the Notre Dame mission after that was also kind of scary on purpose as well, with some great little visuals there to heighten that gothic mood and tone.
Alright, okay.
This Mansion of Madness, though, is the absolute standout so far as horror is concerned, without a doubt.
Is she a ghost? Like, for real?
But you want to know the scariest thing?
No, it's a fake ghost.
5, and we still don't have any kind of proper remaster or remake for this trilogy. I mean, that right there, folks, is absolutely terrifying.
I'll get the next one.
Which brings us on to the last game in the list, and that's Naughty Dog's Uncharted. The first
Uncharted,
series,
yeah.
Fortune.
Yeah, okay, I know what he's going to talk about. Yeah, the final level.
Despite how people might feel
is insane. It's insane.
Or Naughty Dog in general, it's hard to deny how solid that original trilogy was.
Yeah.
Equal parts Indiana.
It had a lot of gameplay issues, but it was really cool. It was really cool. And I'm so mad. I'm still so mad that the 4th game doesn't have any of the supernatural elements, because the first 3 had stuff like that. You know, that's what he's going to talk about. In the first game, there was I think a Nazi bunker. And then the second one had the Yeti and stuff like that. The Yeti enemies. And the third had Jinns and stuff like this. It was really cool. And then the fourth had none. Because they decided, nah, we're not gonna put goofy shit into our game. And that sucks. That sucks, man. Because I feel like the fourth game just doesn't fit into the series because of that. Because it's so much more realistic. Also from the story perspective, you know, it's not about, yeah, let's go on an adventure and kill people, yoo-hoo. No, it's more about interpersonal relationship drama and bullshit like that. And yeah, the fourth game is a good game, but I think they did a big disservice to the series by removing all the supernatural stuff, because that's what made it so Indiana Jones like. And the fourth game is not anything like it. I don't know. And I don't know. The fourth felt more like, I don't know, Captain Jack Sparrow doing some pirate stuff. Yeah. Well, the first three felt more like Indiana Jones. That's how I would describe the difference between those entries. Yeah.
Jones and Tomb Raider. Drake's fortune puts you into the wisecracking shoes of Nathan Drake.
Anti-air?
Yeah.
This is so not cool!
Stranded on a
so not cool, like me.
Just happens to be inhabited by a small army of pirates, as they both search for the gold of El Dorado.
Yeah.
Wow. This looks promising.
And for the first few hours, things look pretty bright, literally.
Yeah.
You get into all these various gunfights with the pirates across the island.
And beautiful scenery and stuff.
Pretty hairy platforming sections.
Yeah.
Dog and platforming on a tropical island, I mean, it's hard to not have flashbacks.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game, though, as you find more and more clues to the gold and what's happened on the island, it starts to unearth a pretty dark backstory, where it turns out that even the Nazis tried their hand at finding this stuff back during the Second World War.
Sully, you're not gonna believe this.
And it's during this sequence where that horror aspect comes in, as you go from shooting pirates and mercenaries outside in the middle of the day.
Why is the goddamn screen lagging? Why is it doing that shit again? God damn it, stop lagging. Been fucking stuttering for a long time now. God damn it, why? What is the issue? What's the fucking issue? Exit that shit, exit that shit. I said exit that shit, not open. Are you dumb? Close that shit, motherfucker! Piece of shit, it refuses. Exit that shit. What else? This one, not anything else I can close. Alright, so it closed a bunch of stuff, but it looks like it's not very different. Alright, I guess I'll have to, you and I will have to deal with it for the rest of the video, but I'll try to fix it for the next recording. But yeah, that's it. God damn it, everything worked fine until now. Why is it fucking up today? Should probably just do a fresh restart of my PC later. Hold on, why is this open? Huh, alright. I quickly checked Task Manager and it looks like I still got some RAM left, but the RAM is very high, and for some reason the Ethernet is spiking. I don't know what's that about, but everything else looks fine. So I don't know what the issue is. The settings worked the other day just perfectly fine, and now it does all this shit. Why? I don't know. Well, anyway, let's finish this video and then I'll try to figure out what is going on.
To suddenly being trapped inside a Nazi bunker and fighting zombies.
Oh, yeah. Shit. Well, I mean, they're not really zombies.
They're actually the descendants. And they're supposed to be the remains of the colonists who originally stole El Dorado's gold and ended up getting cursed.
Yeah.
Making them look like what happens when someone ODs on Ozempic. And it's kind of similar to the tonal whiplash you get in the Indiana Jones films. You know, when they'd suddenly splice in this horrific sequence, like showing someone having their heart ripped out of their chest or seeing someone's entire body melt in time. It's also one of the biggest gameplay shifts as well, because prior to this, like almost every single combat sequence was about taking cover and sitting still. But now you're fighting these fast-moving little assholes who constantly
they keep charging you.
Move and keep mobile.
Yeah. It's a real difficulty spike if you don't expect that.
In the other games as well. In Uncharted 2, for instance, towards the end, when you suddenly come up against the blue-skinned Guardians, who soaked up AK-47 bullets like it was a slap on the ass.
Oh, yeah. There were some real bullet sponges.
And then in Uncharted 3, when Drake was hallucinating and thought he was getting attacked by the Jinn, who could teleport all over the place and again chew through bullets to the face like it was just a mild nuisance.
Yeah. And the fourth one skipped all that, unfortunately.
As good as this sequence might be, though, I still find it hard to forgive Naughty Dog for what they ultimately did. That being killing off one of the greatest video game characters of all time. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, Eddie Raja.
Now that dude was a dickhead.
Drake. Eddie Raja. I should have guessed.
I love that little guy. Well, either way, that's
didn't.
about it for the video. If you can think of any other games that I might have missed that had cool little horror sequences, well, be sure to let me know in the comments. And if you'd like me to do any other similar videos, well, I'm all ears. So as always, thanks for watching.
Hell yeah. Well, I have a suggestion. Alright, anything else? No, alright, I have a suggestion. The Ash spawn in Skyrim, the DLC, the way you get to the Morrowind Island. The Ash spawn, I think is what they called. They're fucking creepy. Dude, they're so creepy. The sounds they make and the way they walk towards up you, staring at you like... It's fucking creepy, especially when you enter the goddamn half-submerged ruin, I think, and they spawn in there and they're like, it's dark and they're going like... Dude, that's so fucking creepy. That's scary as shit. But yeah, that's the only thing I can think of right now off the top of my head. Good video, great video. I'm leaving a subscription. Hell yeah. And you should too. So, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by, okay, his name already, G-Man Lives. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him, ooh. Wolfenstein, these nuts. Tell him that. And subscribe to him, obviously. He deserves it. That was a great video. He makes some good shit. Yeah, I'm convinced of that now. And in my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. But tell me a specific series or title so I know what to look for. Because if it's about a topic I'm not familiar with, I don't know what to look for, you know? Or I can also pick out something myself at random, like I've been doing most of the time on this channel. Just let me know and I'm happy to oblige. Either way. Yeah, and without any more yapping, this has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. Dude, horror and non-horror stuff, such as life, I have a suggestion. Me. I am the creepiest motherfucker on this planet. It hurts, but it's true. So let me sniff your dick. Let me sniff that coke off of your dick. Right fucking now, I'm gonna get angry. And you will like me when I'm angry, cause my penis is going to be hard. Hard as iron, but not as steel. I'm gonna pepper spray your face, bitch. Bye.